Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another video. And in today's video, I'm going to interview a student web developer, Jorge Monte. And I'm so happy that he accepted this interview to do it with me. And this is actually something that I want to do like more often now. And yeah, I just want to interview a lot of you guys that you want to are starting out now in web development, and you guys are starting from scratch. You don't know anything, so I just want to share like all your stories out there. And yeah, today we are going to do it with Jorge Monte, and he's so active in all the social media, and I've met him through my channel and through Twitter. And yeah, today we're going to hear his story. So thank you, Jorge. Thank you so much for being here in the channel. And yeah, you want to just like start introducing yourself?
Hi, Telmo. Thank you very much for inviting me to be the first person interviewed in this playlist, in this category. Yeah, I'm Jorge. I'm from Brazil, and I'm living in Canada right now. I'm studying web development, and yeah, I'm here to tell a little bit about my story.
Cool. Thank you, George, so much for accepting my invite to be in here. So we can just like get started with this. Just let us know how all of your story started. How did you become like a student web developer? Why did you start these kind of things? You know, just let us know from the beginning.
Sure. I come from a music background. I had my entire life was in another career. I was a musician, and the web development started. Well, I had many friends studying and working with web development, and yeah, they talked to me about suggesting me, well, why don't they knew that I wanted to start a new career, but I was still thinking, oh, what could I do? I like business. I like technology as well. I love the internet, but I didn't know until that moment. I was not sure about studying web development, and basically because I thought I had to be really good in math, so I had to be a ninja in calculus or something like that. So I had this on my mind. Okay, no, I'm not sure if I'm gonna be a good programmer.
So what was you said that you have a background in music, and there is a lot of people out there, inclusive me, that I was studying civil engineering before, and then I moved to web development. What was like the reason that made you swap from a music career to a web development? What did motivated you? You were not like interested in music anymore, or you just wanted like a new challenge?
Yeah, that's a good question. Actually, I really liked the music career. That was really good. But I started studying music when I was very, very young, when I was a child. Then after I started to study in the conservatory. I don't know if this is the name in English, but in Brazil we say conservatório.
Yeah, I think so.
That was a natural path that I had until the university, and I finished the university in music. So I didn't really had. It was very natural, you know. So I started studying music when I was a child. Then until the end of the university. So when I finished university and I tried the career of a musician in Brazil is really hard, especially with classical music. That was my how do I say that, my field. So in Brazil is really hard. So I already had in mind to live abroad, to leave Brazil and live in another country, in Europe or North America, something like that. So
you were looking for some better opportunities, for a better quality of life. That's what made you like leaving Brazil, you mean?
Exactly. I was trying to have a better quality of life, more security, everything. and better opportunities. So when I left Brazil at the first time in 2009, I still was planning to study music until that point. So, but unfortunately, it was really hard to have opportunities for non-European. It was quite hard and things like that. So I found some barriers. I don't know if this
Some
word
barriers, yeah.
in English. And then I started to think, okay, I want a new graduation outside Brazil, and I was considering to study business or something like that. And I use internet a lot, so I
Like all of us.
I'm always online. And in 2014, I had the first contact with the coding part of the internet. I was invited to work in a company in Brazil for a short period of time, to work on the sales team in Brazil. So that was the first time that I had contact. We were talking before, I forgot to mention this point, but I had this contact in 2014. So when I started working on in the sales in that company, I had to understand, okay, I'm going to sell a website, so I need to understand how that works, because when I'm going to find a client, I need to tell him if what he wants is possible or not.
So you were starting to sell websites as a front person who is selling the websites for the company to other companies, right?
Exactly. That was a 3 months period that I was with them. It was really good. And then at that point, it was the first time that I heard about the different departments in a web agency. So they had the design team, they had the front end developer, they had the back end developer, they had the guy that was in the security part, and the network. So yeah, that was the first time I had the opportunity to talk to someone and to understand, okay, this is what the user is seeing in the website is a front-end developer who does the login part, the system, the CDM is the CMS is the backend part. So that was my first contact with the coding and things like that. So at that moment, I was thinking, oh, that's really interesting, and maybe there's one. And I, of course, I asked them if, okay, to study to be a web developer, do we need to be really good in math or not? So I already started to consider the idea of studying web development, maybe web design, because the web design is the more artistic part.
Mm-hmm.
So, and as with my background in music, I always like arts in general as well.
So where did you start to learn web development? Did you start to learn by yourself with some books, something online, or did you go to any course?
Yeah, I was in 2015. I was living in Ireland to study English. I've been there for a year, and then in another company that I was working for, a travel agency, we had a developer working with us. He was developing the system for the company and the website. So that was the moment that I asked him, okay, what would be a good path to learn how to develop a website? I'm really interested about learning it. And then he helped me. He's a friend of mine. He helped me. He said, okay, you need to learn HTML first, then you can learn CSS, and then from this point you can choose if you're going to be more like a front-end development and study JavaScript, or maybe you decide to go to the back end and study another language. Mm-hmm. So that was the moment I started to watch a few tutorials, but not really seriously, because at that moment I was studying English. I was trying to improve my English language skills. So yeah, I was watching a few YouTube channel to learn HTML, and it was still a little bit confusing to me, because when they started to mix CSS, I just struggled. So yeah, that was a little bit hard. But at that moment, I already had decided in my mind to study in a college or in a university to become a real web developer. And Canada was my first choice.
Okay, so you went to Canada to start your course in web development, right?
Exactly. I had many friends here, web developers as well. And I already had decided in my mind since years ago to live in Canada. I was just trying to choose what career it would be, what college, and what course.
So what kind of skills is are you going to learn in this course? What kind of skills is like the course teaching you?
Yeah, I arrived in Canada in 2016, and the course is called, it's a web design course. The name of the course is that. It's a full-time school, and the name is web design. The name of the course is web design, but actually uh, is very complete course. It's really, we have contact with all the front end part. So in the beginning of the course, we had, for example, typography, Photoshop, Illustrator, color theory, photography as well. After that, this beginning, we started having contact with HTML and CSS. So we had a lot of HTML and CSS until now. And yeah, we had a class called Introduction to Programming. And the teacher chose JavaScript to teach this course for us. And that was my first contact with JavaScript. And yeah, I started the course in 2016, and I'll finish in May, so in 2 months and a half. And now we just finished PHP and WordPress, and yeah, a lot of Ajax, APIs and things like that.
So right now, you have been learning web development for how long, do you think?
It's been, well, at the school, 1 year and 2 months. Alone at home, like studying on YouTube. I've been I think 2 years. 2 years, yeah. In the beginning, it was not very serious. I was doing free time, so I was. But free camp as well is a great
free code camp, right? Yeah, there's a lot of people recommending, and I've been there a little bit as well. And yeah, I recommend. They have some good good content in there. So what would you say? What kind of skills do you have right now at the moment? What kind of skills do you have to be a front-end web developer or a back-end web developer? I don't know which kind of route do you want to go to.
Well, my favorite thing on web development is the how could I say? Here in French they call intégrateur web, which is the person, because my course is in French. Actually, I'm living in Quebec, is the French province in Canada. So I don't know the equivalent in English, but is the guy who gets the PSD file, the Photoshop file, the image, and transforms it to HTML.
So it should be a front-end web developer, the one that grabs the design already and passes it to HTML, CSS, and JavaScript if needed.
Exactly, and that's funny because when I started the course, I imagined that my favorite thing would be the design part, to construct the the website in Illustrator or Photoshop or Sketch.
So right now, what kind of skills do you have? What kind of skills do you feel like comfortable that you learned already? And what kind of skills do you think you have at the moment?
Well, I can do since building a user interface until writing the HTML, CSS, and some JavaScript, jQuery animations as well. And I'm studying WordPress because here in Canada, WordPress is really strong. I think in the whole world, but
yeah, I guess it's a bit popular in
yeah.
all the world.
But here in Canada, it's very common to have company that wants you to make the theme from scratch. So I'm studying more about PHP and the WordPress structure as well. I can do that in very simple websites, but I'm trying to get better on that. So to answer your question, I'd say that HTML, CSS, I feel 100% comfortable. And JavaScript, I'm working on that now.
Good. So right now that you already know some HTML, CSS, and a bit of JavaScript, in all this journey that you are starting out, you know, from the scratch until this point that you already know a lot of stuff, what were your main difficulties through all this path? What were like the barriers that you felt like, wow, this was really hard, but now I know it? What were your struggles? Just let us know.
That's a great question. I think the JavaScript is the moment that you need to give more attention. Like, even before you start studying any framework on JavaScript, before you choose Angular, React, or even
you need to know the basics of JavaScript before jumping into any of those.
So it's really funny because when I started studying JavaScript and watching, for example, lynda.com, they have a good teacher there. I just forgot his name. I'm sorry, but Ray Lobo
or something. I don't know. I've watched a couple in there as well.
He's the blonde one. I think he's Canadian, and when I watched this course and the first time, I was really confused. I did not understand about functions and objects, things like that. And then when I watch the same course today, I can understand much better what he means. And of course, this is when we practice. After we do a lot of practice,
yes,
it starts to be more clear in your mind.
So basically now you know HTML, CSS, you know, a bit of JavaScript. You are working on it. What is like your plan for the future? What do you want to learn, and what do you want to become better at before you get the job? What do you want to learn? What kind of languages? Do you want to go for a front end? Or you want to go for a bit of both front end, back end?
Yeah. In my mind, I have very clear my goal. I think the best way, at least to me, is to first become a very good front-end developer. So I want to learn more about PHP and WordPress. They are really powerful tools, and so I have to prepare for the job interviews that will be soon happening. So after I start working in a company, probably depending on the company, they will require me to learn a JavaScript framework. So if the company uses Angular 4 or Angular 2 or React, I'm going to learn the framework that they use. So this is why I'm not planning to study a framework before starting working in a company. Because I know if I am really confident and really good in JavaScript, to learn a framework will be easier. So my plan is, so I have 2 months and a half to finish school. So during this period, I'm studying a lot of JavaScript, WordPress theme development, so a lot of PHP as well, and I think Bootstrap is important. Many companies are using Bootstrap, and
Yeah.
can see in many job description they ask for Bootstrap. So I already studied job Bootstrap 3, but now I need to study Bootstrap 4 as well to take a look on that. But uh, to answer your question completely, I would say that I want to learn a backend language afterwards, maybe next year when I feel really comfortable and stable in a company as a front-end development. Uh, I like the Python backend language, but same thing. I think if the company uses, for example, C Sharp, and they give me motivation, they say, "Hey George, what do you think? It would be a good idea for you to learn C Sharp. You could be a full stack or something like that." This is going to happen naturally in the future. I have the idea that to know a back-end language is it would be very nice. It would be great for my career in the future. But before getting into a back-end language, I want to be really good in a front end first.
Yes, definitely. I think it's a good idea what you're trying to plan. Just try to be good at the front end and then just like jumping back for the back end. That's what I did as well. So yeah, I think is a good plan. Is a good plan. So yeah, like you mentioned that you are almost about to finish your course, and then you will have to start to apply for jobs. In the meantime that you are studying and stuff, have you been working on any kind of projects, or do you have any like portfolio website that you want to share with us, or anything like projects that you want to share that you've been working or something?
Sure. It's really good when you receive your first invitation to work in a project for a client. For people who are watching this video and are starting, I want to recommend to work hard and don't how do we say in English? Don't give up, because in the beginning, of course, the beginning is hard. We don't used to like what we produce. We don't like our design in the beginning. That's natural. That's okay. But keeping practicing, it's is a good advice I could give, because after a few months, I started first the invitation to do a design for a client here in Canada. It was actually a graphic design work. He asked me to do.
How did you get this invite for this project?
That was a friend of mine here in Canada. He was in the marketing team of this company, and I told him about. I showed him some posters that I have done before. So he asked me, "Oh, I think we need a design. I think we need design works in the company." It is a startup here in Canada called Retrigo, and they asked me to prepare some graphic design. So I made this graphic design to them. And then after this one friend of them also looked to search at me or called me to to made to made her some graphic design to her as well. So one after another doing
So
more.
this is always a good idea to mention to everyone you know that you are learning web development and in web design and all these kind of things, because a lot of people, they think that if you don't say this to people, they will not just guess it. So you have to tell all your friends, all your family, that you know web development, you are studying it, you are able to work on projects. So this is what happened to you, and you were lucky with this. You were getting a lot of projects from friends, and
Exactly.
yeah.
At that moment, I was just in the beginning of the course, so I was still not very comfortable with HTML, CSS, with the coding part. So that's why I made only the graphic design. So it was basically Illustrator works. So Yeah, and the first website that I had the opportunity to work for a client as a freelance was actually I was an assistant. So it was also a startup in Ireland. So a friend of mine, he decided to make his startup, his project, and then I asked him if I could help them. I was just looking for an opportunity to show my skills and to start building my portfolio. So at that moment, they didn't look, they didn't ask me. I asked them if I could participate to develop, and then I had the opportunity to develop the homepage of his startup. So
Oh,
that was
that's
the
good.
project. Yeah, that was a hard design. The design made hard stuff to code, but and he asked me to do it in using Bootstrap. So at that moment, I had to learn Bootstrap as soon as.
This is such a great story because you are like a living case of someone who is starting to learn web development. You still don't have your first official commercial job, and you are already like kind of freelancing, doing projects for other companies and everything. So yeah, this is really great, and just shows that when someone is really interested in something, if they want to do it, they will eventually do it. They will get clients and everything. just
Yeah.
just one question about this is, when you got this kind of invites for this kind of projects, how did you feel about it? Did you feel like, oh my god, I'm so stressed out now, I don't know what to do because this is my first project, I'm a bit nervous? Or did you feel confident, like, okay, George, let's put your things together and let's start this? So how did you feel about it? What your emotions?
Well, this is a big responsibility. I felt a little bit nervous, yeah, to be responsible for the website for a big project. And for me, that was good because I like to work under pressure. So I learn more when I find this kind of situation. For example, this week I had a project to do for a client, and he asked me to use SaaS. And I already knew just a little bit of SaaS, but I saw it a long time ago. So now I had to refresh and do it very quickly. So the deadline was very short. So this is really good. This is the best way, in my opinion, to learn and to keep improving. So yeah, I felt a little bit nervous, but after you start coding and you show the result to the client, it's always a great feeling as well.
So at the moment, how you are, do you feel ready, like, to start applying for jobs? And if you could start now, you told me that you still didn't finish your course, but at the moment, if you imagine that the course would be finished, do you feel ready to start to apply for jobs and work and everything? Because most of the people out there who are starting out, they never know when they are ready. I remember myself when I was learning web development. We never know exactly when is the point that we are ready to start working professionally or not. So how do you feel at the moment? Do you feel ready, or how is it?
This question is really, yeah, I make this question, I asked this question to Christian in his channel. I put the same because I think he was in a video talking exactly about that. Oh,
Who is a Christian? I don't know.
Christian is didn't you interviewed him the few days ago?
Code Chris, yeah.
No, Christian, the Japanese.
Christian. Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I was not understanding by when you were saying Christian. Yeah, Christian.
Sean. Yeah, sorry, it's my accent. But and I asked him in his channel, how do I know that I'm ready? I think I asked the same question to other YouTubers as well to hear their opinion, because when you know HTML and CSS and you feel comfortable with that, you can build websites in pure HTML and CSS. In many channels you hear, oh, if you know, you cannot get a job just if you know just HTML, CSS. You need at least JavaScript as well. But in other channels, you hear stories from people that they got the first opportunity and they just knew HTML and CSS. So it's really hard because JavaScript is a language, is not easy to be very, very, very good in JavaScript. I think is at least, I don't want to say a period of time because some people study more hours in a day, other people less. But I would say to the people to apply to the job since they can transform an image into a website, even if they know only basics in JavaScript, because there are many companies and they need developers. And if you are working hard to be a developer, I'm pretty sure that the boss or the manager of the company, they will recognize, they will see that you are doing your best to learn. And after you start working in a company with the practice every day and working with another developers, you will be better in JavaScript very quickly. So you will develop your skills much faster than just reading a book or watching.
Exactly.
So what I could say to people who are watching is, if you feel comfortable to build a website, even a basic website, even if you're not really happy with your design, just apply, make your portfolio, and that's what I would say.
Yeah, good. You know, you are just giving good ideas for everyone out there, and I exactly agree with everything you are saying. And yeah, we are just about to finish now our interview, and I just have like one last question: is what are your goals, your plans now for the rest of this year? What do you plan to do? I know that you just told that you were about to finish your course and probably you want to start applying for jobs, but do you have more plans other than that? What you want to do in the near future?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at this moment I starting to apply for jobs. I'm receiving some answers as well. So some jobs are requesting 2, 3, 5 years of experience, but I'm just applying anyways. I think it's important also as well to practice the interviews. You will see some companies wanna have a telephone, a calling interview. Other companies will send you coding tests or something like that. So my goal is I'll keep applying because I can only work at full time after finish the college, but I'm already applying, and I always say to the companies that, oh, I cannot start working at this moment, but if you have the test or if you have interviews, I'm ready to participate if you want. So my goal is to start working in a full-time front-end development job after finish college. Study.
And something else that you want to give out, like first news in here that you didn't mention anywhere else?
Yeah, sure. Also, I'd like to say thank you, Telmo, because of your video. You made a video called Overthinking, about overthinking don't help us to progress in our projects and things like that. I watched that video, and since a long time, I was planning to also have a YouTube channel. I think it's a very cool platform to not only to share our knowledge, but also to teach from people. And then
and it's also great to network and meet a lot of people. You know, we met through YouTube in here mostly, and this is so great.
Yeah, so I'm launching my channel I'm launching my channel this weekend. So we are recording today on Saturday. I don't know when you're going to put this video online, but
I'm gonna whenever your YouTube channel is live, I'm gonna put the link on the description, so everyone who are watching this interview, they can just go directly to your YouTube channel.
Perfect. Yeah, I'm going to edit the video. I recorded a video yesterday. I just did what you say. I'm not trying to be perfectionist anymore. I'll just do the video and very naturally. Of course, it's going to improve after time. So yeah, my idea is to help people learning HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But I also want to put some coding sections. So I'll be coding, live with people together. So that's my idea. And yeah, I think I hope it's gonna be really cool. And
Definitely is going to be a success, because I've seen how much you are working hard on this kind of thing. So probably, it's going to be a blast for sure. And I'm going to promote your channel everywhere in here. I want people to subscribe to you.
thank you.
And yeah, I wish you loads of success, because I think our community of web developers here on YouTube, the ones that we do a little bit of a vlogs and interviews like this, is still a little bit small if you compare to other niches that there are out there on YouTube. So our community of web developers, it's like me, there is a Chris Sean, there is Coding Phase, Cody 360, Ricky Garcia. I don't know. There is not like a lot of them out there like in other niches. If you're going to music or if you're going to pranks or whatever. And it's always good to have someone new to bring a new perspective and everything. And it's always good for us to just like network between each other. And
yeah, it's great. For example, you're making tutorials as well. So if I'm trying to learn how to do, I don't know, a button, the hamburger icon in a website, then I watch your video and I learn how to do that. But maybe I watch another video and I learn new things. So even if you can find many tutorials about the same subject, you always gonna learn something new and in your perspective, as you say. So yeah, I recommend everyone who is watching this channel as well. Don't feel shy. Don't worry about bad feedbacks. Just do, and yeah, that's it.
Exactly. So I guess we are just getting to an end in this interview. I want to thank George so much for accepting my interview and to be here with us and share his story and how it all happened. So many people out there are just trying to get into this field, and it's always good to bring a new perspective of someone. I already shared my story. Today we are sharing George's story as well, because everyone background is different into getting web development, and everybody has different reasons and motives, and it's always good to hear something new. And I want to thank George for being here with us. I'm going to put a link in the description as soon as his YouTube channel is live, so I want you guys to go there and subscribe to him. And that's it. If one of you guys, you have any other story that you want to share with us, just send me an email or comment down below, and I'll be happy to do an interview with you as well, because I want to do this kind of series, sharing a lot of stories from people who are starting to become web developers. And yeah, that's it. George, thank you so much for being here with us, and I'll catch you up next time.
Thank you, Telmo. See you next time, and success for us.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.